G'day Warbanders, and welcome back to another video on Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. And this time I'm talking about the new beta version 1.30, and people are talking about this update. They're saying it's the best update ever to the game, possibly the biggest one that we've seen so far. There has been other major patches, but this one is pretty substantial in my opinion. And there's a reason why I haven't covered Bannerlord in a long time, is because the game simply has not had any updates or anything fresh added. It's still the same game, more or less, like for a couple of months or even a year at this point. But finally we get Tailworld's giving us a bone here, and there's a lot, guys. There's alliances, stealth, deserters, random events, parleys with the enemy, movement control over caravans, recruiting notables and supporters, reworked war and peace tribute, reworked army and party AI, and much more little things like music. So there's a lot that's been added to the game, to this patch, and I'm really happy to see it. It makes me really excited, and I just thought I'd give you my thoughts and opinions if this patch is looking to be good, if it's worth, breaking your mods to play it. And yeah, we'll get straight into it. The first thing that I want to talk about is the stealth system. So I won't be covering everything in this patch. I'll just be covering the major features. So as you can see here, Tailworld has, been fixing bugs, which I don't really care about. They keep fixing bugs, and I don't know why. If you have so many bugs in your game, there's probably something going wrong, but they always do this with every patch. Tons of bug fixes, which is good to see, but questionable. So the first thing I want to talk about, the implemented stealth system. So used in prison breaks, from a dungeon and hideouts, enemies can detect players through sight, sound, reacting to movement, etc. So this is very interesting. Bannerlord and Warband, they don't really have stealth systems. It's never been built for stealth. So it's interesting they added this. And they've added a lot of factors to it as well. So elevation, enemies see more clearly when looking down, but struggle to spot movement above them. Shadows and night offer concealment, while areas lit by torches make you stand out. And so there's also natural hiding spots, different alert states, distraction mechanics like throwing rocks like Assassin's Creed. There's so many little things here they've added. And stealth attacks deal bonus damage, so there's stealth attacks, which is great. Players can drag bodies, so we're playing Assassin's Creed here. Your roguery skill now also impacts the damage dealt via stealth attacks. They've importantly reworked bandit hideouts to implement the stealth gameplay. So this is not going to be in your battles at all, because that wouldn't make sense. Why would you have stealth in battles? But it would be cool, for example, say if you're fighting an enemy army, maybe there could be an option to assassinate the enemy commander or do something crazy. I think that would be an interesting thing. So I think they're setting up a lot of things to happen here with the stealth system. And importantly also is the reworked dungeons and prison break mission. Warband, Bannerlord, they all had prison break missions. They all have prison break missions, and it's natural to see the stealth gameplay in. So you can go in with your sword and cut them down, or you can go stealthily in. So you locate the prisoner's cell, then escort them out without raising suspicion. So as stated before, those different alert states, they play into that. And there's 6 new dungeon scenes, so a bit more variety there. And yeah, it's very interesting. And also we have a disguise system, which is pretty simple, I think, that the way they've added into it, but it's probably setting up for another DLC, maybe a stealth DLC or something like that. So there's infiltration mechanics now where you can set up a contact inside a settlement. The town mission, however, now has increased guard presence and surveillance, requiring you to disguise yourself. So Warband did have a disguise system, but it's very simple. This seems like it's a more updated version of that, where you can sneak in. For what purpose? I don't know. Disguise relies on, inconsistency. I don't know how to say that. Suspicious actions such as running, drawing weapons, or hiding will raise guard suspicion. High suspicion triggers guard investigation. So doing, suspicious actions will turn the guards on you, which is very cool. It doesn't seem like a Bannerlord mechanic to me. It seems like Assassin's Creed. Being identified blows your cover, placing the guards in full alert and initiating pursuit. I assume they just come after you when they find you out and just kill you. And you become imprisoned if they find you. And if you establish a context successfully, you can explore the town in disguise, including in any future entry. So that adds some information gathering, which I find is very interesting. Add some intel, give you a reason to go into a town that's hostile. And you can also use the campaign menu to use a skill roll option to sneak into the settlement. So if you don't like the stealth mechanics, you can do the skill roll, which is good if you don't like that stuff. But I think it's always better to do it manually in those sort of situations. And there's also a tutorial quest and also a new difficulty option for stealth and disguise. Normal, veteran, and challenging affects the sight and hearing abilities of enemies in both gameplays. So it's nice that Tailwolds is, adhering or offering the rogue gameplay style. Okay, so they're offering players who wanted to play as a rogue, or like to role play as a rogue, or like a rogue type or bandit type character. This is what they're doing here, which is really nice to see, and I can't wait to try this out. Unfortunately, the negatives, is there a reason to infiltrate this town? Can I sabotage things? Can I assassinate people? I feel like they could have added more here, guys, because there's no reason to infiltrate the town, except for information gathering and to break prisoners out. That's the only reason. I want them to add more, essentially. And next we got alliances and trade agreements. So this is a big one, guys. Everyone's been clamoring for more diplomacy. The game sort of already has a superficial diplomacy system where you talk with lords and stuff like that, and you build up relations. That's sort of an ad hoc diplomatic system. But here they've actually added some official things that are in mods. Ever since the diplomacy mod in Warband, we've already had diplomacy technically, and now they're just adding it officially. And they've added alliances, guys. So depending on relations between rulers, shared or separate wars, existing tribute payments, ruler traits, and other factors, kingdoms can now decide to form alliance through a kingdom decision. That is great. Thank you, Tailwolds. We've waited for so long, probably 5 years at this point, for you to add alliances. I would have liked to see alliances tied to marriages, because a lot of medieval alliances are built on two families agreeing to marry their kids, so that sort of creates a tie. So I wanted to see a little bit more there, but this is good enough. Alliances are between two kingdoms. Every kingdom can have two alliances. Fair enough. Alliances can end after one in-game year, or when one ally declares war on the other. So they can backstab each other. That's very interesting. Forming alliances cancels any existing tribute payments between the kingdoms. Allied kingdoms are less likely to declare war on each other, more likely to wage war against their allies' enemies. Less likely. So even if you're allied, you're still under threat of being declared war on, which is, adds some interesting elements. Kingdoms can request their allies to join their wars through call to war agreements, which may include a gold payment to secure support. This kingdom decision automatically occurs when an alliance is created and the members have an unshared war when a new war begins. A kingdom, blah, blah, blah. And now we get into another point, which is added trade agreements. So trade agreements were in the diplomacy mod for Warband. So they're basically just porting over features from the diplomacy mod in Warband, which I think is a good thing, because we want the vanilla game to be built up. I don't really get the complaints about, oh, the mods, they're better, man, they're better. Dude, the mods wouldn't exist if Tailwolds didn't make the vanilla game. If Tailwolds didn't make the game, then the mods wouldn't exist. So I don't really like this, the modders versus the developers, because the developers are the ones who actually made the game in the first place. So it's really kind of a weird logic to say, oh, the mods are way better, man. So please just stop bringing up those points. So my final opinion is that it's good that they add mechanics to the vanilla game from mods. There's no bad thing about that. And also they've reworked peace, war, and tribute decision scoring. We have 3 primary goals in mind: prevent illogical war and peace declarations and tributes. Limit the number of very short wars that are breaking the flow of the sandbox and the player experience. Properly assess the current state of wars and use that to affect the peace decisions. This is very, 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 very good, because that's one problem that's been consistently brought up, is that there's lots of wars, but they don't, you know, finish up. It just keeps going, and they're quite, there's no reason for them, you know. Hopefully this adds some decision making, more smarter decision making. Kingdoms will now choose opponents more wisely, avoiding wars against overwhelmingly stronger factions. So this probably removes the annoying thing of Bannerlord where your council votes to go to war against a hugely superior enemy. So hopefully that fixes that. They'll be more resilient and less eager to declare peace once they're at war. This will result in fewer but more impactful wars. That's what I want. I want more decisive wars. Added a more precise war effort system in which successful sieges, raids, casualties determine which side holds the upper hand. This system carries greater weight in how kings decide when to offer or accept peace, and should stop losing kingdoms from demanding and winning kingdoms from paying tributes. Stop losing kingdoms. It should also enable kingdoms to focus their peace pursuit on the wars that they are losing. White peace treaties where no tribute is exchanged also take war efforts into account. This is awesome, and I can't wait to play and see this in action, because I always found the war score system, or however they track, you know, how the war is going, is very simplistic, and it's great they're adding more elements to consider, and it just offers way more, you know, granularity to the war system. So this is awesome, and I'm hoping they expand this further, because I just don't think that in Bannerlord that AI understands why they're going to war. Like, I think there needs to be a bit more reason to why they're going to war. Like, maybe they hate this character, or maybe, you know, they want this specific town. It feels a little bit random when I was playing it last time, like when I was playing Bannerlord long ago. So hopefully this improves it. Can't wait to get into it. And next we have some economy changes. Added new dialogue to player-owned caravans. Added some trade goods. Increased the town trade commission rates by 5% to rebalance tariff income. The diversification of town income sources means you will now need to more carefully consider trade routes and town projects to achieve decent income. So that's good. Makes the trade playstyle, you know, better, hopefully. On the average of a third town's income may arise from tariffs. Increase village taxes by 30. Yes! Town and castle taxes by 130%. So this makes, you know, holding towns and castles more profitable. So, because a lot of your income in Bannerlord came from, you know, exploits like smithing or selling loot, which makes sense because war is profitable. But it didn't really make sense that your villages and towns and their taxes weren't able to support your income, like you support your army. So this is a great change, and this is what I wanted for a long time, for probably 5 years. 5 years. When was Bannerlord released? 2020, yeah. Increase village hearth recovery rates to recover more quickly, so less snowballing. Grain and fish can now substitute for each other in the town consumption at 90%. This means if towns run short on grain, they will spend most of their grain budget on fish instead, ensuring a steadier food supply. So yep, less shortages. Caravan behavior chances. Increase the chance for caravans to return to their hometown after visiting several cities, so they return more frequently. Increase caravan trade volume, but beyond small sales, they can now, so this makes the caravans more smarter in their trading. Together, these changes slow the distribution of local goods to distant markets and allows player to engage in more profitable trade. So less grinding if you want to play the trade play style. Less spam of caravans, probably. So less competition. Again, I will say honestly, I don't play the trade playstyle, but this makes me want to play it a bit more. Hopefully. I changed the production output of 15 villages to improve the game's economy. Workshops in rebellious towns will no longer produce items, but will still incur workshop expenses. That makes sense, because if you're in a town that's, you know, rebelling, it has, you know, turmoil, then the businesses won't function. So that makes sense. Improve the AI notable workshop type selection algorithm, so nobles are less likely to open workshops that compete with the existing ones. That's a very minor change, but a good one, because they did make workshops that were, you know, doing pretty poorly. And we also have the added parley feature. Oh my god, they've been teasing this for a long time, and it's finally here. You can now start a parley with enemy held settlements that have a noble inside from a distance by holding left alt and left mouse clicking on a settlement. You can then select who you wish to speak to from the present nobles. That makes it so you can communicate with hostile factions so they don't immediately just attack you. So that's just awesome. Town and castle project changes, so more balancing. We'll have to see how it plays out. Added a dialogue option, recruit notables as supporters. To gain a notable support, the player must achieve sufficient relations with them and provide a one-time payment. Notable supporters are an existing mechanic of the game which previously automatically happened when clans meet certain conditions. A supported clan receives daily influence for every supporter. They also receive a loyalty, blah 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 blah. So to be honest, I forgot what supporters are, and I unfortunately haven't played Bannerlord for a long time, and I cite the reasons before is, you know, the updates have been very sparse, and Bannerlord is always a game that has the potential to be amazing, and this is one of those updates, but I don't know what supporters means in this context. Add a dialogue option, recruit notables as supporters. Does that mean companions? I'm not sure. I have to check that out. I'll flag that. We've got reworked certain bandit hideout mechanics, so you can attack both night and daytime. That's good. If you attack daytime, you get a penalty for stealth since you're more visible in the daylight. So this is good. Like in Mount Blade, it makes sense. Like, why can't I attack these hideouts in daylight? Because I know where they are. So that's good to add that. Send troops has been added for hideouts, so that reduces the grind. Very nice. But I want the lords to destroy hideouts. I want them to do that. In Bannerlord, they don't go after hideouts. I'm pretty sure that, correct me if I'm wrong, the AI lords do not destroy hideouts themselves. So the bandits just get stronger and stronger without player intervention, which is really annoying. So hopefully they can fix that. But this is a great first step. This update. And what else we got? Not much. You got some questing that's been fixed. Lots of fixed bugs. Very interesting. And they threw some multiplayer people a bone. You know, just with some bug fixes and UI changes. But I'll be honest, guys, they don't really care about us multiplayer people at all. Like, I love Bannerlord multiplayer when it was alive, but this is purely a single player game at this point. No one I know who's a big Mountain Blade fan never plays multiplayer in Bannerlord because it's just so bad. Like, there's nothing they can do to revive it, I think, at this point. But oh no, they removed the female specific movement animations. All characters now use the same movement set. Uh-oh. Why did they do that? Why did they do that? No, add them back. What are you doing? That's weird. Why did they remove it? Maybe it was unrealistic. I don't know. That's not a good thing. And we got some huge changes. The AI of combat. Again, this is very hard to tell theoretically if this is going to improve the AI, because in previous editions of Bannerlord, you know, the AI was very hive mind, and hopefully this helps. You know, they're tweaking a lot of things here, and I'll have to play it for myself. But overall, like, looking at these changes, they seem very targeted. You know, formation AI, shield AI, working like little changes here or there, range, troop, AI, spear related improvements. You know, spears and Bannerlord, they're shit. They're still shit. You need to fix them. Tailwolds, there's no like spears have been used throughout human history, and they're the best optimal weapon, the best cheapest weapon you get for a foot soldier, and you just completely ignore why they're so important. They're not just for killing cavalry. They're not just for that. They're a good versatile weapon, and it's a shame that Bannerlord just cannot make the spear good. I think if you make like swinging to left to right, I think it'll be better, but still, it's a spear in Bannerlord, so I don't think it'll be fixed. Got some performance, but I don't think this is going to do anything. And lots of modding changes, which I can't decipher because I'm not a modder, but hopefully this helps with modding. And yeah, guys, I think that is the patch and the most important things that I've flagged. There's probably some little things that I probably missed, but this is a huge patch, so I'm going to miss some little things. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think this is a good patch? Now, I know I've said this before in my last videos on Bannerlord, like, oh shit, this is the greatest patch ever, you know, like, and then it turned out to be like subpar, because when I started playing it, it was like, oh, it's okay. But yeah, I have to play this for myself. This is just my first impressions of the patch, so if you're expecting some gameplay, I'm sorry, I can't give that to you. I have to give it a play. I can't keep up with all the news, unfortunately. I'm a pre-service teacher studying. I'm a journal editor for a student journal, like a history journal. I'm doing lots of things in my life, so it's hard to keep up. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and please tell me what you think of this patch. I think it's a good one. I'm probably going to check it out within a couple of days, and yeah, just play it, and then we'll see if it's improved the game massively. And yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Bye.